Hi, I'm Dempsey Pillai, and this week I'm reviewing Aquaman. Was directed by James Wan, and it's based on the DC comic book character of the same name. The film stars Jason Momoa as Aquaman, Amber Heard, Willem Dafoe, Patrick Wilson, Yahya Abdul-Mateen, Nicole Kidman, and, for some reason, Dolph Lundgren. Now, this film takes place after the events of Justice League, and it follows Momoa's Arthur Curry, aka Aquaman, as he attempts to reclaim the throne of Atlantis, after being estranged from it since birth. So, just a little bit of a trigger warning here. Because this film is kind of a big deal, I'm going to be doing somewhat of a spoiler discussion after the review. And I've done this before with Avengers Infinity War and Venom, so basically, to reiterate, the actual review won't contain any spoilers, but afterwards I'll go into a little bit more detail about some of the things I liked and some of the things I really didn't like, and maybe even talk about some theories I had about some things that I saw. So make sure you stay tuned after the review if you want to see that stuff. But yeah, let's get into the actual review right now. This film is legit, okay? After having my heart broken before with films like Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad and even Justice League, I was a little bit skeptical going into this one because it's Aquaman.
What's that?
But I'm glad to say that DC is making the right moves. This film, like Wonder Woman, is a step in the right direction for DC's cinematic universe. Now, there's a lot to love in this film, most notably the direction and visual effects. James Wan really does create some excellent action sequences in this film. Each one is equally as elaborate and entertaining as the last, and he also does a fantastic job at bringing Atlantis to life. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that he does for Atlantis what James Cameron did for Pandora. Each scene where we see Atlantis is a visual treat. But that's not the only thing that's fun to watch. Our two leads, Jason Momoa and Amber Heard, are also a blast to watch on screen together too. This film confirms what many of us have known for a while now. Jason Momoa is a star, and he's so charismatic in his portrayal that it feels like he was born to play this role. In fact, you can tell he's having a blast playing it too. And Amber Heard, who's been in the business for more than a decade, finally has her calling card here as Mera. And not only does she play the role well, but I believe it's going to be the role that finally gets her the recognition she deserves. Unfortunately, I can't say nice things like that about everybody in this film, though. Both of the film's antagonists, Patrick Wilson's Orm and Yahya Abdul-Mateen's Black Manta, are just a little over the top in my opinion. Their portrayals of their characters are just so cartoonish that it actually kind of takes you out of the film. In fact, on several occasions I found myself laughing at them, especially when they were delivering like really serious monologues, and huge emphasis on really. But yeah, the two of them, I don't really know. I obviously I know that they have the acting capability, but I don't really know why they chose some of the choices that they did in this film. It just didn't work for me. The only other thing that I didn't really like about this film was the fact that it could be a little predictable at times. And I'm not just talking about predictable in the way that superhero films are traditionally predictable because, we've seen so many that we anticipate what's going to happen. But in this film, I could literally anticipate what was going to happen. You see, several times over the course of the film, there are exchanges that certain characters have with each other, and then right before something big happens, they kind of look at each other like they're waiting for a cue for something, and then something big happens. It's so weird, and it's just so, I don't know, amateurish, I guess. And, the first time it happens in the film, obviously, I wasn't expecting it, but it's a device that's used too frequently in the movie that eventually I think you're able to pick up on it as an audience member. I don't know, at least I was able to pick up on it anyway. But yeah, just like the cartoonish acting, it kind of took me out of the film after a while. But it didn't make the film any less enjoyable, okay? All things considered still, this film is still pretty good. Overall, it's smart, entertaining, and just plain old enjoyable. In a genre that continues to become increasingly crowded, it's a breath of fresh air. And while I'm kicking myself in the face for saying this pun, it still proves, surprisingly, that there are plenty of fish in the sea to be discovered. And for that, I'm going to give this film 4 stars.
That was the worst pep talk ever.
Okay, so now that the review is over, it is finally time to dive into some spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, or if you don't want any of the film's many surprises ruined for you, this is your last chance to click out. Alright? You're more than welcome to come back after you watch the film, but until then I would not recommend going past this point if you do not want anything ruined for you. You have been warned. So the first thing I want to discuss here is Nicole Kidman's character, aka Aquaman's mommy, if you will. Throughout the film, and I mean this goes back to what I was saying in the review before about this film being a little bit predictable, I felt like there was just too much of an emphasis on her being killed or executed or whatever you want to call it. And honestly, I felt like that extra emphasis just wanted to, you know, trick audiences into thinking that she was really dead, and I wasn't buying it for 1 second, honestly. And plus, you know, it's Nicole Kidman, she's a very talented actress. I doubt that they would have her in the film for like 10 minutes, which is like all that she is in the film for until, you know, you see her later. But yeah, I totally saw it coming, and I don't know, that whole trick didn't work on me. And I'm glad that they did keep her alive, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm excited to see what role she will have in future installments of the Aquaman franchise, which you know there's gonna be because this film is gonna be a hit. The second thing that I want to talk about here is that final exchange between Aquaman and Orm. Aquaman tells Orm, "When you want to talk, I'll be ready," right? And it totally gave me Thor and Loki vibes. I'm not even going to lie. In fact, throughout the whole movie, I kept on telling myself, I was like, I feel like I felt this dynamic before. And then, lo and behold, you know, that last scene just really struck it up for me. Like, it reminded me that obviously we've seen this in Thor. But I'm not gonna lie, it got me a little excited. I don't know too much about Orm's character in the DC comic book world, but I can tell that I think that they have really big plans for his character, and I'm excited to see where it goes. The third thing I want to talk about is Black Manta, okay? Spoke about this before. Yahya Abdul-Mateen's portrayal, yes, it's cartoonish. And I'm not gonna lie, Black Manta, probably one of the most badass characters in the DC universe, in my opinion, okay? One of the coolest costumes, especially in the comic books. In this film, I'm not gonna lie, he does look a little bit like Alpha from the Power Rangers, just like spray painted black. Just personal opinion though. But even though it does still kind of closely resemble the original costume, it just, I don't know, I don't think it really worked being translated from the page to the screen. Once again, personal opinion. But yeah, like, despite that, I just want to talk about the character as a whole. I feel like they didn't do enough with him in this film. I was expecting way more from him. I like the whole setup with his origin, and I like the final battle, or the semi-final battle, because, you know, there's going to be another one, haha, between him and Aquaman, where it's presumed that he's dead, and then you find out that he's not dead. I don't know, like, like I said, I really do like the character in the comic books, but I'm not so sure. I mean, I think that the character has to change a little bit. I think he definitely needs to be a lot more darker, even though he's supposed to have a little bit of darkness in him, because he has that, like, vendetta against Aquaman. But I don't know, like, I'm just a little skeptical about the whole thing. And Randall Park's cameo at the end, obviously it's a setup for larger things to come, but I don't know, once again, I'm not too sure about this whole Black Manta thing. Unless his character or his demeanor has to change. Something has to change about the way that Yahya Abdul-Mateen portrays the character, in my opinion. Just to make him more of a badass, I feel. I feel like that's the one thing he was missing in this movie, that badass factor. But, yeah. That's all I gotta talk about, guys. Honestly, I know that there's gonna be a whole lot more to discuss when the film comes out, because so many people are gonna want to talk about so many other different things in this movie. And honestly, I'm excited.
I'm all a tingle.
Guys, Aquaman comes out this Friday, December 21st, so make sure you check it out when it drops. You will not regret it. I know I didn't. But Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you like this video, hit that like button, and if you're not subscribed, I would ask that you please subscribe. I post new videos weekly, and I've got tons of new stuff coming out this month alone. So make sure you stay tuned. Also, if you want to follow me for any updates, feel free to follow me. I'll post the links in my description box below to all my social media. I'll post the links to my Twitter, my Instagram, maybe even my LinkedIn. I realize now just how awkward that sounds now that I said that, so probably won't do that. Also, if you guys see the movie, or when you guys see the movie and you want to talk about it, feel free to comment in the comment section below. I'd love to talk to any and all of you about it, especially if it's regarding any of the points that I spoke about in my spoilers section. But yeah, guys, thanks so much again for taking the time out of your day to view these videos. It really does mean the world to me. And I really love making these videos. It's something that I've actually become really passionate about. So yeah, I guess I should probably get back to work. So until next time, I'm Dempsey Pillot. Take care.